Fellow hobbyists, collectors, and prey heads alike, happy 4th of July and welcome to my channel, Predator Collectibles. Now, if you're new to this channel, I'm your host, Glennon Taylor, and we take a look at everything that is collectible underneath the Predator franchise, from action figures, comic books, statues, prop replicas. It'll all be right here on this channel. Now, in today's video, we're actually going to be reviewing a current figure produced by Hiya Toys, and that's going to be this little guy right here, the exquisite mini Predator 2 Guardian Predator. Now, I've heard how small these things are, but I wasn't expecting it to be this small. Now, I will of course give you a brief glimpse into why this figure was produced and where he shows up in the film, and we're going to be doing that review right now. The Guardian Predator is a member of the Lost Tribe Yautja clan and shows up at the end of the movie Predator 2, where Danny Glover plays Lieutenant Michael R. Harrigan, a member of the Los Angeles police force, tracking down the city hunter to his ship, and end up getting into a huge battle, ends up killing the city hunter, and finally double checking the fact that he is dead, is now realizing that he is surrounded by not just one predator but 9 other members of that clan.
Okay, who's next?
And now we see the Guardian Predator almost attempting to take on that challenge. Now, you might be wondering, where exactly do I remember this biohelmet from before? That's because it is the exact same biohelmet that was almost used in the original film 3 years prior, the 1987 film Predator. It was originally designed for the movie and was scrapped for a much more simpler design because it felt as though that this particular biohelmet gave off too much of what the Predator looked like underneath. With the figure itself, I do like this box artwork because it does give you that nice, delicious window display that gives you the showcase of everything that you're buying with the $19.99 price point. And I really do like that it gives you everything that justifies the price, with the accessories, the figure itself, a stand, and also, of course, with the weapons, it gives you 2 variations of the spear and also a nice good skull. Keep also in mind that because this figure is the stature that it is, it gives a nice good warning on the bottom of the box indicating that there's a choking hazard with small parts. It is not intended for children under the ages of 3 years old, but for ages of 15 and up because of the small parts. And when they said small parts, they were not kidding at all. I'll give you an example. With the cutting disc that you normally would see with any Predator 2 figure, so this would be the Predator 2 disc, and this is the equivalent size of what that is. The Predator 2 disc is half the size of a Cheerio. Now, with the plasma caster that you also would see on a City Hunter, or in this case the Guardian, so this would be the cannon, and that is a grain of rice. So as far as height goes, that the plasma caster is pretty much a little bit taller, but they're almost about the same height as each other. That's how small these things actually are. Now, don't get me wrong, I really do like the fact that there are weapons as accessories for this figure. You do get the plasma caster as well as the cutting disc, and I really do like the fact, the amount of detail they're able to put into these weapons, being how small they are. But if you're not careful, if you do in fact lose them anywhere, good luck trying to find these things because they are really that small. Now, the 4 hands that you're able to interchange with this figure allows you to either grab the 2 spears or of course grab the Predator 2 cutting disc in conjunction with either the right or the left hand. And the other factor is that one particular con or bad thing I don't really care for with this figure is that the cutting disc is kind of so small along with the figure that it's very troublesome to try to get cutting discs into the slot where the cutting disc is supposed to go on the thigh armor of this Guardian. It took me roughly about maybe 3 or 4 minutes to finally get it into position to where it seemed as though that it was locked in place, but if not careful, it will still be knocked out of the alignment and also will not be reattached to the armor of the Guardian. I do like the 2 spears that you do in fact get with the Guardian. You have the 5-inch long spear and the 2-inch short spear, depending upon where you place him on your shelf with amongst the rest of your Predator collection, that you can have variations of room and space to house him along with everything else. The skull, I believe, is a very nice touch to an accessory that is more of a collection and display piece along with the Guardian. The detail on the paint, as small as the skull is very intricate, and I do like the paint on it very well. However, again, because of its small stature, if you lose it, you can very well end up not being able to get it again. But it is something nice to place into one of his accessory hands that's open palmed, like the one with a cutting disc. Can also be displayed with the skull in hand as well, which I really do like that option very much. The last accessory in this box is the stand, which in my opinion is more of a necessity because this figure has very difficult posability and his joints seem to be very stiff, and also the weight differential between based on his stature and his joints kind of give it a little bit difficult that he's not able to stand on his own. Based on these photographs of New York Comic Con, I don't know how Hiya Toys were able to pose him unless the spear that you're looking at is able to keep him balanced along with the rest of his weight. But if you'll notice, he is towards leaning backward, as you can see in this 360-degree view video. But unfortunately, it was really difficult to pose him. His armor does hinder him as far as full range of movement, and also the gauntlet blades are made out of plastic, which is fine, I don't have a problem with that. But there are certain aspects of his joints, depending upon how you want to pose the figure in your collection. This particular figure is very small, and also with the weight giving off, he'll either lean backward or forward depending upon how much of a movement you give him. So the stand is necessary. I understand now why they put or gave you a stand to begin with, because of that unfortunate circumstance. Keep in mind there are both good points and bad points to this figure, which I've already highlighted, but I'll go ahead and do a recap in relation to the $19.99 price is very good because you get all the accessories for his stature. The amount of detail that is put on this 4-inch figure is all there to the accuracy of the character, the Guardian, as you see in Predator 2. However, with stiff joints, posability, and how small they are, that can be lost. Also with a stand, you are needing a stand to pose him or keep him straight upwards, either again forward or leaning backward depending upon the weight differential you put on the figure. But in my point is that the good things are in fact there, and depending upon what you do with the figure is entirely upon you, whether it be good or bad. My perspective is this is a good figure. I really do like the price point based on the fact of what you get, along with it being another Predator collectible that is different from another company that we haven't seen before. Hiya Toys has done their aliens and a few other things in too. But now that we have the Predator figures, I am going to continue adding the Hiya Toys line of Predator 2 and Predator 1 figures to my collection, and hopefully they will improve more on these aspects that I mentioned before. If you want to see the origin of where this particular bio helmet from the Guardian came from the Gort Predator, you can watch that video right here of my review of the 7-inch NECA figure of the Gort Predator. And make sure, of course, there are other videos at the end of this one. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you're new to this channel and you want to see more content from me, make sure you hit on that subscribe button and also the bell notification for when you're notified when my videos are uploaded. And I upload my videos every Wednesday. So I want to thank you again for being a supporter of my channel. I'll see you next week. And until then, happy hunting.